Central Unplugged. It's episode 19. I feel like it's been forever. Kurt, how are you?
I feel 19.
Yeah?
I like that number. You look 19. Yeah, I don't
19
feel 19.
again?
Yeah, you're not much older there, kid. So what have you been up to? What have you been doing?
Just working hard at the radio station. I'm taking summer classes now, so homework and stuff. Getting over
Yeah.
sick. I'm on a good stretch here. No sickness, no illness.
Yeah. I heard you coughing as we were doing our host chat off air this morning, and I was wondering, and that thing's going around. My wife had it. A very good friend of mine, the track photographer at Colorado National Speedway, had it. It knocked him down. He's my age. It knocked him down for like almost 3 weeks.
Your good friend Joe Starr?
Photo Joe, yeah, you know that.
Photo Joe, man.
Yeah, he's not sounding good. He worked this weekend. He's getting better, but it's pretty nasty stuff. I know a lot of people that have had it. I heard it came from China.
Oh yeah, China.
Was that a bad joke? At least I'm not in a submarine trying to go find the Titanic. Yeah. What a story that is. I mean, do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
So there's a submarine, a private company that for I think it's $250,000 will sell you a seat to go down in the sub and view the Titanic. I mean, way cool, but way claustrophobic. I mean, I've been in a submarine before, and you're not going to put me. This is not even a submarine. It's called a submersible. So basically, they drop it in the water, like little kids poop, and it floats to the bottom, and they have a cable. And
just humans in there?
Yeah, I don't even know, because they lost it. It's like,
oh, no.
I see it. It's right there. They lost it. And there's like a couple guys that are billionaires that are in there. And they lost it.
It's still in the ocean?
Yeah, it's been there for 3 days now. They can't find it. And the thing is, so they only have enough air for like 4 days.
How many people are in there?
7 total. 5 passengers and 2 drivers. I think it's 7. No. Yeah, it's
what
gone.
A nightmare.
Yeah, first of all, I'll watch the Titanic on TV. You're not going to put me inside. And the way the nose,
a bunch of assholes.
The nose comes off, and there's 17 bolts, and they bolt you inside it. So even it takes like a half an hour for them to bolt you inside. So they're basically bolting you into your floatable tomb, and
what a
drop you into the ocean to find, or not find. They've had like, I think someone said they've had 25, 30 trips so far over a couple of years. But yeah, it's not tethered, but they have to tow it around and then drop it in the water. It's not tethered. And then they drift down, and then they release ballast when they get done, and it floats to the top.
Yeah.
But even if it's on the surface, how terrifying. I mean, if you're at the bottom of the ocean and you run out of air, but even
if you're think of the worst way to die.
No, if you are on the surface, you can look out the port and see the birds and the bees and the trees and stuff, but there's no way to open. There's no hatch.
Yeah, I'm sorry for laughing. It's not funny, but like, what a stupid thing. What a stupid thing. God, that's horrifying.
Yeah, I feel very bad for the people that are in there, because you kind of know. You kind of know when you know, and that's.
Oh no, they have to find a way. They got to find a way.
Well, that even if they find them, they can't save them. If they're on the surface and they find them, if they haven't already suffocated, I have to believe there's probably another hatch, maybe on the top or something. That heaven forbid, if something like this happened, they're bobbing around on the surface. They could release open a small hatch.
Yeah.
Or something so the air can get in.
Uh-huh.
But, to take 17 bolts are like this big off the nose and get the nose off. You can't do that floating in the ocean. If they find you, they'd have to get the platform to it and then lift it out of the water. And so there's got to be some kind of receptacle or something at the top, I would think. I don't know. I'm not a submersible designer, but I did stay. I found if you want to be smarter, you don't stay at Holiday Inn Expresses anymore. You stay at Choice Hotels. I should call them. I did stay at a Choice Hotel last night. No, I'm just kidding. But it's just terrifying. Only because I didn't watch it for the last hour on TV. It's absolutely mesmerizing. So what a shame.
Holy cow! Well, literally, I'm praying for them, and just
Yeah.
guys,
Um,
terrible. But what a big mistake that was.
something
Yeah.
happened. They must have had a critical failure of some sorts. I don't know. It
Well,
is what it
anyways,
is.
sorry for bringing everyone down. Why don't you? What have you been up to? Colorado National Speedway stuff, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm designing a submersible in my garage right now.
A new one.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. There'll probably be a few job openings on the submersible design team. God, oh man, I'm having allergies. Is what I'm having. No, yeah, announcing at Colorado National Speedway. I'll be again there this Saturday. Maybe you'll be there. Busy summer. Lots business is great. Programming is going great. Our big launch with Gannett and USA Today is going fantastic. Been talking with those folks. Have another big platform that wants to come on board with us. So I mean, I can't complain. What's an old guy going to do in a small town? But I got to tell you, it's and by the way, belated Happy Father's Day to everybody out there.
Yeah.
To your dad, and I'm not a father, but I am a mother. My wife tells me all the time, I'm a mother. So anyway, it's a good summer, and the racing world's going crazy. IndyCar is getting very interesting.
I was going to say IndyCar. What sector of racing is popping off right now? And
yeah. So NASCAR was off this past weekend. IndyCar went to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, which is one of the most beautiful tracks in the whole wide world, and also a good party place. The world famous Siepkin's Bar, but it Road America. So, and just before that, they had the street race in Detroit. So I'm going to start there.
Okay.
And I'm going to start backwards.
Sure. Like a Tarantino movie, huh?
Yeah. You started at the end first. Yeah. So, God, good knowledge there, Sid. Detroit was amazing. I mean, it was a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
It was a crash fest. It's super, super, super narrow. And when I looked at the layout on paper, and I think we had one of the top Trans Am drivers on the show the weekend before, and we had talked about that. I mean, Nashville was a great race last year and a shit show for IndyCar and Trans Am because narrow, super tight turns, and but it was a great race. And Nashville, they had a huge crowd.
I bet.
But Nashville was tight. If Nashville was tight, I almost said something that's really inappropriate, so I'm not going to say that. Detroit. There were parts of Detroit that, the homeless, single file couldn't get through. That's not too bad. I was going to say Detroit was tight.
What do you mean by tight? Like tight knit? Like tight?
Way too narrow.
You mean
like a car and a third wide. No room for error. And but I will say, it was super, super exciting. I was going to say it was as tight as a condom, but that's inappropriate.
Well, this is Race Central Unplugged. So.
Yes, it is. And that's a wrap. But anyway, I'm in a crazy mood today. Must be the allergies. Anyway, but it was great racing. But everybody hit everybody. Yeah. It was like an MMA free fall, or a mosh pit. It was battle royale, and a lot of feathers got ruffled. But it was a great race. But it was and Flavor Flav was in the house. He's a big Will Power fan, which is cool. Which, oh my God, segue to my next thing. But good race, exciting race.
What about Romain Grosjean?
That's the story I'm going to get to. So Romain has been having a rough go, and here's what's kind of sad but kind of interesting. So we had that virus that came from China thing. Because I'm tired of saying pandemic. Pandemic and pivot, the two P words I don't really ever need to use again. Romain, during the Netflix series Drive to Survive, became kind of iconic for being who he is. And then getting fired by Haas.
Yeah.
And had, two defendants. He would be, well, he was fired, but he still had 2 races of the season. But everybody, he and his teammate Kevin Magnussen were going bye-bye. So the next last race of the year, he had that horrific, huge crash, which I think made everybody really pause and think about really how dangerous this stuff is. And I think he even coined himself the man that walked from fire, out of the fire or something, when they did a wrap up. But I don't even want to go into it. So he comes to IndyCar, and it's a big feel good story. People love him. They are cheering for him. They're rooting for him because of that. But his reputation before that was the guy would hit everything but the lottery. I mean, he would crash a lot.
Just a messy dude.
Yeah. But that was his reputation. But then he had the crash, ironically, or I hate to say that, but and then the fire, and then survives and really doesn't get too screwed up, thank God. And he comes to IndyCar with Andretti Autosport, and is the big time feel good story, as he should be. And he makes, has some issues getting his feet wet the first year, but still the conversation is all very, very shiny and glossy and beautiful and wonderful. And Romain, and I'm a Grosjean fan. But I'll admit, what have you done for me lately? Even in my grizzled old broken down state, in my heart, what also made me, and I never would go, that fucking Grosjean. I mean, Gunther Steiner would say it when he would crash. Oh, that fucking Grosjean. What the fuck is he thinking and doing? But even in my heart of heart, before the fire, I'd say, Romain is Romain. And I'm not sure what all that means, but the guy just makes a lot of mistakes and crashes a lot.
Yeah.
And then the fire kind of got to me too. I'm like, wow, okay, what a story. And IndyCar is a perfect place for this guy. And it still may be, and I think it is. But this season, I mean, he's had a lot of crashes. I mean, he crashed out of the Indy 500, which caused the caution that kind of really led us to the end of that race. There was that final red flag with 2 laps to go. But Romain kind of caused the big one and the big cleanup that took a long time, which cautions breed cautions, crashes breed crashes. But Romain crashed at Indy by himself, running strong. And you look at the video and it's like, how'd that happen?
Well, he is French, so. Yeah.
And I did have a steak and frites on this weekend for Father's Day with my father-in-law, but I didn't crash to get there.
Yeah.
But it's like, so you start unpacking, to use a Zach word. Where do you get that word? And by the way, he uses it way too much. But
is that guy?
Yeah. Gotta unpack this. Yeah. He's a smart guy. This guy's he's a smart guy, obviously.
Zach getting national news, some CNN hits.
Yeah.
In the finals.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
What finals? Did something happen around here? That basketball thing?
The NBA ones? The NBA
That's
finals?
Right. Good story. Jokic is pretty cool, dude. Then he dropped an F-bomb at the parade, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I was there. I was there.
Were you working it, or you just went?
No, I just was there in the KSC, had like a private section, real close to the stage.
Excuse me.
It was sick, but I almost died in the crowd. Holy
I
cow.
bet. Yeah, I bet. Well, at least you didn't get shot. Um,
Yeah.
so Roman is back to being kind of Roman. What got him in
Mhm.
trouble in Formula One, and the
He's
scary
just
thing is,
bringing it over.
hey, I was a psych major. There was a book that were told we had to read. It's called "Wherever You Go, There You Are." So if you're a train wreck living in Dallas and you're a train wreck and you think that jumping on an airplane to fly and start moving in Denver, you just brought the train wreck with you.
Hmm.
So sadly, Roman's kind of, and Will Power, he and Will Power got into it, and Will Power is like, they will not be exchanging any Christmas cards. And a few other drivers have said, you know, they're getting a little tense around Roman. Um,
Sure, I
and
bet.
it's kind of sad, but it's just reality. You have to intimately, not to be weird, and ultimately and intrinsically and ultimately trust the guy you're racing with wheel to wheel
Right.
at 230 miles an hour.
Yeah,
And
it's
once that
dangerous.
trust gets fractured, it's hard because I just, maybe there's something instinctively inside Roman that, I mean, he forces the issue. And um, I just hope he doesn't get hurt. But I believe it was the crash at Detroit. Yeah, it was a crash at Detroit. He sat outside the car for 15 minutes. I mean, pounding his fists into the tire barriers and just was in total angst because, again, a single car accident. Nobody hit him. He didn't hit anybody. See, on a street course, you have to be very careful because with blind corners, you have a concrete wall. You can't see over. The wall is 2 feet higher or a foot higher than you are. Long
Mhm.
Beach is famous for that, and I've raced it in the only street race I ever did in Pro Atlantic was Long Beach a few times, but you can't see. So when you come to a blinded Long, these are Long Beach example because it's a right-hander, it's the hairpin that leads onto the front stretch. You can't see, so you hustle the car in there, following the guy in front of you, and you kind of trust where he goes,
Right.
and you preload the wheel because you're doing, it's a big turn. Preload the
Yeah.
wheel, and as you crank down, you pass the apex, which is the exit is blind.
Yeah.
You apex the car and you start to squeeze back. And when you get the sort of unwind the wheel and get the car pointed in the direction you want to go, you just stand on the throttle, and the car runs out to the wall. And you know, but if you are even a tenth early on the wheel,
Yeah.
you will hit the right rear on the inside of the wall.
Sure.
If you
Well,
just
maybe.
brush it, what it does is it pushes the car out. You'll straighten the wheel to correct the car as you're
Yeah.
going back to power. And if you don't have grip, you just shove it in the wall. Well, that's what he did. When they went back and ran it, there was the right rear tire was white walled, and there was a scuff on the inside of the right hander. So he scuffed the wall going in, which caused him to come out, try to correct. Too late. You're on the marbles and in the wall, and it was a big hit.
Well,
Totally his
maybe the
fault.
guy. Maybe the guy just has poor instincts.
I mean, he survived. He survived a long time as a professional race car driver and had, a lot of starts in Formula One, but not tremendous success. And he knew it was 100% his fault for that crash. Then he goes to Road America, and I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to beat up on the guy. So I like the guy a lot. I'm glad
It's
he's. I'm
interesting.
glad. I'm glad he. I'm glad he didn't get killed. in the Formula
Sure.
One race, which goes without saying. But I don't know, after 20 years of being that guy, I don't know if those spots can be removed, and
Yeah.
people are getting a little fussy, and it's
Yeah.
sad to see, because I really do like the guy. I talked to him at great length at the media luncheon in Long Beach. Super cool guy. He wanted to do a TV piece with us, but that day was kind of weird. The weather was crappy, and these guys are packed with sponsor commitments, and the media luncheon went long, um, and so we didn't
Just
get a
didn't work
chance to
out.
talk. But
Well,
I hope the best for him. But I don't think those spots can be changed.
yeah.
He is who he
Well,
is. I
yeah.
wish him
It's
best of luck, though. Just Roman, please don't get hurt or hurt anybody else.
yeah. When's the next race? Yeah.
Mm. I listened to this. I listened to this show on the radio called Race Central. They're
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. That's how
Yeah,
you find out. Okay.
yeah. I've been so Sid. I've been so busy. Um, there is a race coming up.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, look, listen. Speaking of F1, apparently it's the Max Verstappen show, and that will segue into a guy that you brought up earlier, which is Will Power. But why don't we hit on some F1 real quick?
Well, and I forgot my last Will Power piece. Will Power said recently that Formula One's become basically a video game. It's a lead follow. IndyCar is real racing, which based on the last couple of races, I mean, uh, Road America was a hell of a race too, and before that, Detroit was a hell of a race. So, if beating and banging and bumping and getting super aggressive, which I couldn't believe the aggression I saw from the IndyCar drivers in Detroit. Unbelievable. I did not see the Road America race. I was with the whole family up at Brasserie at 1010 in Boulder, having one of our favorite places, having a great lunch.
Yeah.
But I'm going to watch it this week. But I mean, if bumping and banging, aggression, and all kinds of crazy stuff is IndyCar, I will admit, I mean, Formula One's cool. It's cool. It's shiny. It's but I'm kind of with Will. Formula One has become a lead follow. Max Verstappen's going to win the third championship in a row. He may have it wrapped up. I mean, the season goes to the end of November. The championship, unless he starts to just DNF every race, which is not going to happen. Uh, you know, the championship could be over in a few weeks. And the best story this year in Formula One is Fernando Alonso, the guy. He did
Yeah.
Indy a few years ago with McLaren and was okay. Everybody's like, see, we told you, he's all washed up. The guy can't drive. He goes back to Formula One, is doing okay. Obviously, he can still drive. But then, Lawrence Stroll spends another $1 trillion. He could probably buy one of those submarine seat rides, but I bet they're going to have a sale on the next one.
Well, that'd
Not
be a
two,
giant waste of money.
not 250 grand. Um,
Yeah, but what's the real cost? 7 lives?
yeah, tragically, I hope not. But
Yeah.
Lawrence Stroll invests another $1 trillion, and all of a sudden that team is super competitive. Even his kid, who a lot of people thought, okay, Daddy bought you a Formula One team, you're okay, but the kid's like fifth or sixth in championship. So obviously, and in racing, and people don't understand this, it's so much of it is about, as we call it, the package. If the package is really good, there's a lot of guys. I mean, back like when Furniture won the championship in NASCAR in 2017, there's probably 5 or 6 guys, at least maybe 10, that could have won the championship in that car. That's how good they were. So, I mean, when the package is really good, and the top 10 drivers in the world, you can kind of throw a blanket over. I mean, Max Verstappen may have a little bit of an edge on everybody else, but it's not like he's miles better.
Sure.
But that championship could be over. And if IndyCar keeps doing what they're doing, it's interesting. I think there'll be a lot more eyes on IndyCar, which what they want, they need. That 100 days to Indy was not as gritty as Drive to Survive was. I don't know how, it's like reality shows are not really reality. If you have a better reality show producer, and I know this because I was asked to do a reality show about 10 years ago, and I had a meeting with our producers in Las Vegas during SEMA, and they're like, okay, so Here's what you're going to do. Here, we're going to write this. I'm like, oh, I get it. It's not reality. It's
Yeah, it's not
scriptality.
really.
Ooh,
Wow, so you were going to
it's
be the
script.
next Kardashian?
I'm much
Kurt,
better looking,
Kurt Kardashian?
and my butt is not as big. Um, I'm gonna. You know what? I just coined a phrase: scriptality,
Yeah, scriptality.
scripted
That's good.
reality. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, I've seen people at Racer Magazine steal my line, the Monte Carlo of open wheel racing, of American open wheel racing. I've seen other people using it, so I guess I'm getting plagiarized. Not pasteurized, but plagiarized. I'm 100% whole milk, um, uh, pasteurized.
That's true.
But not this is not vanilla radio or TV.
Hmm.
Um, but so anyway, but Will Power said it, and it's kind of becoming true. The race
What
in
does he
Montreal.
mean? What do you mean by video game though? Like
It's
it's
like
just
you
not
just sit back and
hectic?
watch, and nothing really happens.
Yeah.
It's like dudes. I mean, like, oh, you're a race car driver. Well, I'm ranked XYZ on sim racing in the world. I'm like,
Hmm.
there is a show coming out, Gran Turismo. Smart people, they took a bunch of their top reality or sim racer guys, reality racing, not real racing, and they put them in real race cars. Let me tell you,
Oh,
when you get in that race car, it's 150 degrees. You can't breathe really well. You're exhausted. You're in there for 2 hours, and you're going 200 miles an hour. Nobody has ever been greatly hurt or died from falling asleep playing sim.
yeah.
You know,
Okay. Well, I hope that those guys are prepared.
well, again, it's all scripted. It's
Oh,
it's
okay. Okay.
scriptality.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna have to trademark that scriptality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Trademark it.
but it's pretty interesting concept. I didn't mean to get off on sim racing and all these gizmo guys. I've instructed a lot of teen driving events, and these kids, oh yeah, well I'm Captain Cool in the sim, and you get them in the car, and it's like nothing works from the mid torso down because all you do it's eye hand coordination and a lot of this, but they don't know what to do with their feet. And last time I checked, you need your feet not only to get in and out of the car, but also to use those pedals because they
Yeah.
get mixed up. Brake, clutch, you know, uh, throttle, just that. Anyway, oh
Well,
my God,
maybe
we've
maybe
we've
Indy
gone way
cars.
long.
Indy. No, we're good. We're good. We're
Okay.
gonna wrap it up. We'll wrap it up here with something local. Pikes Peak International Hill Climb.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Which is funny you say that because it's much bigger nationally and globally than it is locally, which is interesting. I get it. My good friend Paul Dolleback, who's been on the show many times, has been
Yeah.
having some struggles lately, but I hope they'll be okay. Tommy Boylo, a local guy, a really talented driver, um, crashed the Camaro he was supposed to race about a week ago. I mean, destroyed the car. Thank God
Oh
Tommy's
no.
okay. But just heard yesterday from his dad, Bob. He's good friends of mine. He used to be the general manager at Pikes Peak International Raceway. He's going to be racing in Aston Martin 007 car. So that's good for Tommy. Tommy's super talented, super good kid too. Neat family, but so I guess he'll be there in an Aston. Really, not a lot of practice time in that car. I think they're practicing today. I know Paul was yesterday at Pikes Peak International Raceway shaking the car down. But Paul's super talented, has so much history up there. Um,
Yeah.
he's won the thing overall a boatload of times, won classes a boatload of times. So, yeah, that's going to be this weekend. We're going to be at Fan Fest, the lovely Sydney Corra and I. So stay tuned on Facebook /Kurt Hansen. We'll be doing some live streaming stuff. Sid will be doing some interviews. And just for we'll be there for Fan Fest, and I'm gonna spend the night because I'll probably be there late, and then I'll bug back home Saturday morning, and then up at Colorado National Speedway for Saturday night for another NASCAR show.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's finally hot here. It's finally
yeah,
hot,
yeah.
and it went
If
from
you're,
like 68 and raining to like 93 yesterday.
I know, like, holy cow! I went outside in sweatpants and I was like, oh yeah, can't do that anymore.
Well, at
But
least
then
you had it
today,
down right. You were sweating.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then today it's gloomy again. But such is life here in Denver, Colorado. And if you're a racing fan and you're here in Denver, Colorado, there's no shortage of things to check out, like Colorado National Speedway. You can head there on Saturday and hear Kurt announcing races. or this Sunday you can check out Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. So plenty of action in the racing world here in Denver this summer. Kurt, it was a great episode 19. It was awesome to be back with you.
Yeah, and no matter where you are around the country, around the world, you can obviously watch us here on Facebook, also on racecentralmedia.com, the website that makes you a smarter and better motorsports fan. But probably the best place to find us is on YouTube. So just type in Race Central Unplugged. And again, inside the Denver Metro, AM 1600, every Friday from 3 to 5, The Drive. We're streaming around the country and around the globe, as we like to say, at racecentralmedia.com. And you can watch Race Central TV, the longest running motorsports television show, like the radio show. Check your local programmers for times and channels in your market. We're 35 major affiliates, our big global deal with Gannett and USA Today on their relaunch site. And again, maybe easiest found for the TV show at racecentralmedia.com. Also, sign up for our newsletter at racecentralmedia.com, because we will have our Colorado National Speedway Night, one of the big events this summer. And if you sign up for the newsletter, just go to the website, racecentralmedia.com, join the newsletter, because we're going to be drawing the 100 people we'll be taking from our newsletter recipients. So, Sid, you look great. We'll talk more this week as we get ready to go to Springs on Friday.
Yep, absolutely. And that puts us right at 30 minutes. So
see you, kid.
We'll see everyone next week.